From LALATE headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Afternoons LALATE.
It's a big afternoon of Afternoons LALATE with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2022. In today's recording, we go over the breaking news about what's happening with SS300 as Jay Powell came into those interest rates spike yesterday to battle inflation. And what did he do? All the latest details and why the move for SS300 is more important now than later this year. We have the latest updates on that. Plus, the Build Back Better Act going to get passed and those big checks. But the big checks are being supplemented by, for stimulus add-on, allow law. $80,000 of checks have gone out. Have you got to those stimulus checks? In this recording, we're going to go over these $80,000 of checks that go on top of other checks from third stimulus. As viewers this week, got $26,000. 26 plus 80, yes, I'm going to show you how to get it. Then we'll be turning to 6 stimulus checks, and that recessionary concern growing across the board as the oil, the wheat, and also the banking issues just continue to unfold. Vladimir Putin not meeting his debt obligations, we believe, overnight. And when about April 4th? Huge, as he's likely to default on nearly $2 billion of debt obligations. What does it mean to the U.S. economy and us? I'll have the latest details in this recording. Then we're going back to the CR for stimulus with another round this week. What is the president doing? The breaking news on that. And then we'll be recapping the big money for third stimulus as viewers clean up. And tonight on Evenings LA in Primetime, I'll go over the viewers who cleaned up overnight. Yes, this is on top of that other viewer got $26,000 this week from third stimulus. And viewers continue to pounce for those $80,000 of stimulus checks. It's a great week with a lot of checks. $100,000 potentially in your hand if you're a homeowner. If you're a renter, potentially $20,000 to $30,000 to $45,000. And the money keeps on coming day in, day out. And we'll have a preview of tonight's broadcast in prime time. It's a big broadcast from Santa Monica, California for March 17th, 2022. The breaking details on all your money start right now from the shores of Santa Monica to the shores of the Black Sea and Ukraine. All the latest details in today's recording and the exciting elements, everything you need to know, starts right now as a new Afternoons LA broadcast gets underway with all the incredible money. What's important to remember is that third, fourth, and 6 is happening all at the same time. And you can get all those sums of money at the same time. How do you get it? We're going to go over each of these incredible checks one at a time, starting right now. And good afternoon, everybody. Hope you're having a beautiful day. A lot of breaking developing details on interest rates, inflation, and also 6 stimulus. The recessionary concerns growing across the board. And what does that recession mean for you? It means more than higher oil prices. It also means potentially $7 a loaf of bread. Very troubling news. But first, we're going to look at the big money. $80,000 of checks that are coming to viewers of this channel today. Not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. It's a preview of tonight's Evenings LA, America's #1 show for financial news in prime time. Coming up tonight with a major recording for March 17th, 2022. But first, let's start with the Build Back Better Act. We're going to go over broadly those 3 clusters of checks and those 3 add-ons. They're going to be featured tonight in prime time with incredible detail, about $15,000. That first cluster has lots of checks in there. Hazard pay and essential workers getting their checks. Another round of the earned income tax credit. $4,000 of elder care, $4,000 of care for young children, the home repairs, and then the money for the college students, $500. The huge money for repairing of your home and the $1,600 for the purchase of a new electric vehicle. The first add-on of checks to the Build Back Better Act going to happen. At least $25,000 for the purchase of your first home. Wow, incredible. Got it in there. How do you get these checks? Tune in tonight for America's most watched show and from primetime, it's Evening evenings LA, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. In that second cluster of checks, we have home repairs and paid leave. Home repairs to weatherize your home and paid leave upwards of $4,000 to $6,000 a year. The second add-ons of checks come from Bob Casey, $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. And then that third cluster check is where I find deliciousness. The seniors and the free internet, farmers checks, independent contractors checks, and then seniors getting lots of checks. What are all these checks? How do you get it? Tune in tonight for Evenings LA. But the seniors getting dental, vision, lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, hearing, the Medicaid cap fix, and more. This is among the checks that the senators would add in on the Senate side. The fourth stimulus recon Build Back Better Act passed in the House, and the other checks that they would add in on the Senate side, of course, are MSC. These are a body of checks that the legislators represent the viewership of this channel. They're going to put in there monthly IRS stimulus checks on top of the existing checks that you get of $15,000 to $80,000. So who would get them? Tonight on Evenings LA, we're going to go over more about these incredible checks. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 for after, for up to 6 months, says the legislators. And who would get them? Here's what you need to know. Not income, not taxable. Offered nationwide across the board, and incredible add-on of checks to the existing $15,000 to $80,000 of checks in that recon. To learn who gets those checks, tune into Evenings LA tonight at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's you. Then we're going to go over everything you need to know about that map. Yes, that map. It's in true deliciousness. That map is here. $80,000 of checks have now gone live, and this is a Build Back Better add-on. Build Back Better, not law. This is law. It is the homeowners grant, and $80,000 of stimulus checks have been paid out to the viewership of this channel, and the rest are pouncing. Now, this is on top of the money for renters. Renters are getting checks. Homeowners are getting checks. And as I said last night, you're either one or the other. You're getting one of the two. And they're both huge sums of money. Laying this recording, we're going to go over the renters' checks. But right after the commercial break, we're going to go over those $80,000 of checks for the homeowners. Members, congratulations. I'm so excited for the membership of this channel who are sending those kind messages in the last 3 days. I got my application in LA. It's complete. I'm just waiting to get funded. Just incredible. If you're one of those viewers, congrats. If you have not done it, stay with me. I'm going to show you how to do it later in this video. In the meantime, become a member. The link is at the top of the chat and under the video for you to apply and get this big sum of money. Now let's go at that SS300 breaking developing details. Jay Powell, your head of the Federal Reserve, his job is to reduce inflation. As the head of the Federal Reserve, his job is to reduce inflation. So you don't want him to reduce inflation too much until Joe Biden swaps out COLA for inflation. That is what that SSI reform is that Joe Biden promised and then indoctrinated into his platform for President of the United States. Swapping out COLA would lock in the highest inflationary rate of a generation now. It was 8% in December, as I predicted it would be all last year. Wall Street and the Federal Reserve misguided. They predicted it was going to be 1% in December and then come back down. It was not. It came in at a blazing 7.5. Then in January, I said it was going to be at 8% and stay there. Guess what? I was right again. 7.9. And it's staying there. In fact, the bond traders Friday, Monday, and Tuesday in the last few days have predicted that inflation may actually be higher than we're reporting right now. Higher than 8%? Yes. That's why the 10-year Treasury note, the 2% number, which you're seeing grow to 2.3, 2.4, and was just 1.8 just a few days ago, is because the bond traders think that inflation is higher. This is all good news for you and that SS200, SS300, because if Joe Biden made the swap today, we're good. What if Joe Biden makes the swap anytime in the month of March? You're still good. What about the month of April? Getting a little bit tense, but still good. I'll tell you why. Jay Powell yesterday came in with his interest rate spike. No surprise, because I have been reporting it since he unveiled it a month ago. He said the March FOMC meeting, which was yesterday and the day before, would have a 0.25 basis point increase for interest rate, also called a 25 basis point increase. That's what he did. But what did he give guidance for the rest of the year, and specifically, yes, for April? What did he say? Let me give you the breaking news right now. The breaking news is that at that FOMC meeting yesterday, Jay Powell first said that he will stay with where he is right now, that he analyzed the situation based upon the world events. And those world events involved Putin, involved supply chain. And he says, I'm staying where I am right now, but I may go higher. So at the moment, we're indicating that Jay Powell may stay at a quarter basis point, but could pivot to a half in a split of a second. So why would he pivot to a half? The supply chain issue of Putin, the supply chain issue of China, the supply chain issue of the United States, and the energy shortage, the commodity shortage coming up later in this video, and on the bond traders. The bond traders suggesting that the inflationary numbers are higher. Why would Jay Powell not come in at half basis point next month? Because there's been several major misses in economic data in the last 48 hours. Number one, the PPI number, a miss. Number two, the consumer spending, which is the retail number, huge miss. Huge miss among many, many sectors, meaning that consumers were not buying because they think their dollar is worth less because of inflation. And consumer sentiment dropping because they're unhappy about inflation. This could signal that Jay Powell has to do more. Remember, you want Joe Biden to make that swap from cola to inflation now rather than later. Tonight on Eating Tell, we'll go over more about what Jay Powell said, but let me tell you the part that makes me a little bit nervous. It's not the April, May, which I think at the moment, I think we're good for April at a quarter. I don't know about May. Remember, if Joe makes a swap today or in April, we're fine. It's this December number. Jay Powell gave us guidance in that FOMC meeting yesterday. He says how many basis points he wants to incorporate over the next remainder months of this year. Now remember, quarter basis point is 25. So let's do the math. 5 meetings, how many interest rate spikes? Well, yesterday he surprised us. He said 6 meetings, 6 interest rate spikes, but he would not give us the number per meeting. He said the inflationary number suggests right now, I'll do 175 moves in the next 6 meetings. What does that amount to? 25 times 6. That's what he's getting that number from. Now, here's the other part that makes me a little troubled, is the December number. I had always told you that Jay Powell may be trying to get inflation down to 4% by the end of this year. Why was that important? Because if you make the swap today from inflation, cola to inflation, you get about $200 a month. That is 8%. And I always said, by December, inflation is likely to be about 4%. That'll be another $100. That would be SS 300. Well, what did Jay Powell say yesterday? Now, let me make this clear. This is what the collective group of voting members of the Federal Reserve look to do at the time of yesterday's news. They can change later than this year, they can change next month, and they can vote differently, so the numbers could move. They're looking to not reach 4%, which of course was the number. The news article saying they originally said they're going to do 4% inflation by December, so they're going to reduce it from 8 to 4. Now they said they want to reduce it from 8 to 2.8%. Nearly about as low as 2.8%. Why is this troubling? Because that would not be another $100 later this year. It may be about $50 more per year, which would be SS 250, not SS 300. That is why Joe needs to make the swap now, because we don't know how aggressive Jay Powell will be doing this. One of the key words that I'm using on this channel, expressions brand new, is soft landing. What is soft landing? A soft landing is, for the first time since 2019, it's been that long, Jay Powell is doing a whole year of interest rate spikes. So soft landing is to ease you in to all these interest rate spikes, not hit you a machete and bring you down really strongly with a strong, big 50 basis point interest rate spike. So the concern is that if Jay Powell came in too strongly with a hard landing, the economy could spiral into recession, spiral into stagflation. That's why Jay Powell is very key on that point across the board. Remember, when we're talking about this SS 300, you want Joe to make the phone call right now. We're fine for March. We're fine for early April. But that May becomes problematic. The late April may become problematic if inflationary numbers pivot and change on this channel in the next 2 weeks. Remember, we're only about 4 weeks out from guidance. Jay Powell could give us guidance even before the April FOMC meeting. What about the big CR for stimulus? So CR for stimulus passed last week, did not have a $2,000 stimulus check in there, but had county stimulus. So if you want that county stimulus, reach out to your local county. I can't feature everyone's counties in there. Joe Biden, however, is doing another round at the pony ride. Why? He's unhappy that there was no money for COVID in there. So he's going to do another piece of legislation He has the Democrat support to do it. And that piece of legislation I've been waiting for all this week, the press secretary said it would be unveiled this week. Why do I think this is important? Because there's a sixth wave, not sick, but six, I know it's hard to say, sixth wave of COVID coming out of China. And it's very vigilant. And the White House is out of COVID money, out of testing, out of free tests, out of anything. And so the White House is preparing for that sixth wave to hit the United States potentially a month from now. And we have nothing left in money. So he's going back for another round. I don't know if he's going to get it, but if he does, we're going to push to include a stimulus check in there as well. Now let's go back to that map. The incredible great news is that third and fourth are still paying out at the same time, and sixth will be paying at the same time. If you're new to this channel, let me explain. We number stuff on this channel, and the numbering system does not mean you do one before the other. It's just the way I differentiate it. I could call it blue, orange, and green, and then you say, why are we doing blue when we haven't done orange and green? You wouldn't say that, because blue doesn't go before orange and green. It's just another color. In the case of numbers, people say, why are we doing one before? Because it's just a numbering system. I could also call it, congressional names, like lobster face and bad hairstyle, number 2. But you would be confused. Which one's the bad hairstyle stimulus? It's too easier to use numbers. So let's go over the details. Third, fourth are happening at the same time, and 6 is coming right in April. Now, third is paying viewers of this channel on average $45,000. Third is rent, and it's homeowners. It is everyone on this channel. And then fourth is paying homeowners up to $80,000. So those items, all Biden stimulus, are paying huge, whopping sums of money right now to the membership of this channel. Let's go over each of them. First, third is homeowners and renters. Fourth, the add-on is homeowners, and it's this map. What's going on? 2 Fridays ago, now 3 Fridays ago, practically, the President of the United States rolled out a forced stimulus add-on. While Build Back Better Act is not law, this is law. It is paying out $80,000 of checks. And it's huge, and you're not going to see it anywhere else, print, broadcast, or cable. So for anyone who jumps to the live chat, who's new to the channel, says, forced stimulus, has it passed? When was the vote? There's nothing for forced stimulus. They haven't caught up on the channel. They've been gone perhaps for 4 weeks and haven't watched this. And guess what? They're 4 weeks behind you on getting these checks. More about that in a second. Forced stimulus is paying $15,000 to $80,000, but on average $80,000, to the membership of this channel with a homeowner's grant. That program was announced 3 Fridays ago. Never covered anywhere. You only hear it on this channel. The programs went live, and we're about the word live in a second, last Monday, and I immediately told viewers of this channel to apply. These are programs that are first come, first serve, and the viewership of this channel, you're incredible. I just applaud you because you understood what I told you. First come, first serve every day, every minute you wait. Overnight, I had someone send me a message. Who sent me a message the day before? Kept on saying, I don't know if I should apply because I said, listen, every single day that's passing, you're getting 5,000 people in the residence of your state getting in front of you. What are you doing? Just apply. Don't wait for my answers. What you're going to be, just apply. Just apply. You could wait, and then suddenly there could be no money because you let 15,000 people cut in front of you when you should apply on day 1. So how do you apply? You become a member. The link's at the top of the chat and under the video. And I'm going to go over that incredible sums of money. But first, become a member during the commercial break and be ready to pounce and get those sums of money from this huge forced stimulus add-on. And coming up in the second half of this video, of course, is that 6th stimulus, the biggest payout you've ever seen in the history of the channel. We got a big Afternoons LALATE, and we'll go over a preview of tonight's Evening LALATE in prime time. See you back in 60 seconds as Afternoons LALATE big recording continues. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on a big afternoon's LALATE for March 17th, 2022. We'll go over the huge six stimulus caused by Putin. First stimulus was for COVID. Second was to be for COVID. Third was for coming out of COVID. And fourth is also for coming out of COVID. But sixth stimulus is for Putin. And it's to prevent an oncoming recession. It's coming up in just a second and would heat up in less than 30 days. But first, we're going to go over that big money of the big $480,000 of checks. It's huge and it's a lot and it's paying out. Let's go over the incredible details right now. This is the map of those checks and it's changing by the minute. We're going to look back at that map in just a second, but over this program. First, Build Back Better Act, forced stimulus, not law. This is law. It's a forced stimulus add-on, a forced stimulus ancillary piece of legislation. It's law. It's accepting applications. It's paying out on the applications. And as a member of this channel, you have pounds. This is where we separate the novices from the advanced. This has always been an advanced channel. This has always been a channel where I've taken you from beginner to advanced, and you have done so well since day one. You applied for the EID or granted the loan or PUA, and then you took it to an advanced level. On day one of this channel of April 25th, I showed viewers that a new program was about to go live. No one knew what it was. In fact, I was messing up the name. PUA and FPUC. I called it EFPUC. I couldn't even get it right. No one knew about it. And I said apply on the 25th. On the 28th, it went live. And guess what happened? For the viewers who applied on the 25th, they got funded on the 28th. For everyone who waited to the 28th, got it funded the next month in April or May. That is why you pounce, Purple Hawks. For everyone who says Biden hasn't sent any money out for forced stimulus, you want to laugh at them with $80,000 in your hands. Now let's go over what this is. Number one. It's the homeowner's grant. The complete name, the full name, you'll see if you're a member. It's featured in the membership newsletter. It is a grant, meaning it's not a loan. You don't have to repay it. There is no credit check. It's offered nationwide, everywhere. The eligibility is the same as a third stimulus check, approximately. $75,000 less, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 less. And yes, if you're on benefits, you can get it if you own a home and are in that zone of eligibility. SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. Great question. I think I saw on the afternoon show today. If I'm on benefits, would this disqualify me? No, because it's a grant. It's not income. Great question. And again, you don't have to repay it. So where do you get this application? How do you apply? You become a member. It's featured in the membership newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. The first day it was announced, now it's approaching 3 Fridays ago, I immediately put in the newsletter. My members applied before anyone else in the United States. They got first in line. It has been featured in every newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time ever since. Let's go over everything you need to know. First, the name in the newsletter. Second, the link in the newsletter. You click the link, it sends you right in to the application portal, which then sends you to your respective states. Number 3, income qualification we just went over. Number 4, 99% of all states do not require you to be behind on bills. Number 5, most states, 99% of states, they pay for mortgage assistance, property taxes, homeowners repairs, and also association fees and other items. Number 6, it's done through an application. You should not, repeat, 100%. Not picking up the phone to call anyone. This is not a phone call basis item. This is where you apply right today. Number 6, there's a lot of programs out there that have a simple name. So if you go to a program that says it's only for mortgages and you have to do this and this and this and this and this, you're at the wrong place. Number 8, you need to apply right to now because it's first come, first serve. Every day that passes, there's potentially hundreds, thousands, or tens of thousands of people in your state cutting in front of you that got it filed and got it approved. Now, overnight, I got so many wonderful, kind messages from members who said, "Thank you, LA. I got the application on file and it said complete." It will tell you if it's complete, and I'm just so excited for you. Now, let's go over that map. This map is very important to understand what it is and what it isn't. The map represents the status of several states earlier last week. The map is not live, so I want you to understand the map is not updated on a daily, weekly, or potentially even hourly basis. So if your state is one color, it may be different color at the time of this recording. Do not rely on this map for anything. You want to go right into the link of the membership newsletter and go right and apply. Why am I showing this map for you? As an educational purpose. If your state is, for example, teal at the moment, it means it's accepting the applications and paying on the applications. Now, the only way you know if it's teal is not this map. It's by going to the actual website. It'll tell you. If your state is pink, it means it's receiving the applications but not paying for it. Again, the map may have changed since this recording. It may have changed since I got the copy of the image. So don't rely on this map. Go right to the website. Nevada pink on this map. It may not be pink anymore. It may be teal. Again, go right into the application and apply. Now, how do you do this? Become a member. The link is at the top of the chat and under the video's description. The membership newsletter is delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock Central. And that membership newsletter is delivered to you via the YouTube alert system. If you got a YouTube alert about this video, that's what the YouTube alert system is. The first line of the membership newsletter features today's oil prices, corn, soybeans, and wheat. Right under there, it goes right into the incredible grant program. The membership newsletter not sent by email, not sent by PDF, not sent by waivable checks, not sent by talking cows, not sent by lobsters, not sent by bad hairstylists in San Francisco, not sent by you got the point. There you go. Become a member today, and congratulations to all the incredible viewers. The first viewer who gets that membership, that incredible $80,000 or $15,000 to $80,000 paid out, send me the message because I'm going to be so excited for that first viewer. Oh, because so many of you have gotten that application on file and says it's complete. So exciting. Now, later in this video, I'm going to show you how to get money for rent. There is money for rent everywhere, and there's money for this as well. That's coming up in just a second. Now, let's turn to the developing details of 6 stimulus. Wow. Now, remember, stimulus packages overlap, and I've only said that 9 gazillion times. And that is why we talk about them at the same time, because they're paying out at the same time. You do not. Let me give you an example. If someone says, why are we talking about fourth stimulus when third stimulus is still paying out? Because fourth stimulus is paying out as well. Do you not want $80,000? Why are we talking about third stimulus when we're on fourth stimulus? Because third stimulus is paying out. Oh. Why are we talking about sixth stimulus when fourth stimulus is not done with the Build Back Better Act? Because the other fourth stimulus is paying out. Oh, okay. You know what? If there's money, why are you not grabbing the money? Why aren't we talking about that? There you go. I'm in a mood today. Are you in that mood? Yeah, it's the change of time. Spring forward, fall back, spring away from the lobsters is what I say. Okay, so here we go. The big exciting details is that sixth stimulus is happening. Sixth stimulus is Putin cost stimulus. You can call it a lot of other things. You can call it oil, but I call it Putin cost stimulus because guess what? You may need sixth stimulus because of your seatbelts. I am not joking. I am not joking. Folks, I can only know so many industries, and I do not know the seatbelt industry. I learned about how you refine oil in the last 2 weeks. I've learned about how you harvest wheat in the last month, but I know nothing about how you manufacture a seatbelt until yesterday. Seatbelts are manufactured for all the U.S. auto manufacturers that sell in Europe. Guess what? In Ukraine. And now they cannot manufacture cars. Oh, really? That is charming. Imagine what it'll do to our U.S. auto manufacturing industry if they cannot sell cars in Europe because there's no seatbelts. Yeah, it's not a good signal. And that is among the many industries that are at issue for six stimulus. At the moment, that situation we know for six stimulus, for oil, for wheat and those commodities like corn and soybeans. Very, very, very bad problem. Number three, for China, getting worse by the day. Four, because of the banks and its exposure to Putin. And number five, because of Putin's defaulting situation. Let's go over each of those developing details. Right now, we'll have the latest update tonight in prime time on Evenings LA. Six stimulus grew from the allegiance of the progressive leadership of Germany, France, and the United States. But the reason why I said April's when this would start up is because Francois Macron, President Macron. I always get it. Emmanuel Macron. Sorry, there was another Francois in there. Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is up for re-election in April. And guess what? If he's re-elected, the trifecta of Germany's chancellor, President Biden, and President Macron will pass this piece of legislation, what they said they would. They're doing it, they say, is because they have agreed to get off of Russian products. Really, why? Because it's morally not appropriate to be buying those Russian products. But in getting off of Russian products, their economies are going to go into a tailspin because they're too dependent on those products. And as a result, they need to, one, debt spend, raise their national debts, even the United States. Number two, then send out stimulus to their citizens. Let's look at how it looks in the United States. It's currently $4 a gallon in the U.S. today, AAA national average. Some days it's $4.33, sometimes it's $4.20. It's still too expensive. It's an unsustainable number through the month of May. Guess what? We're now less than 8 weeks away. If it stays at that price level, $4 by May, guess what? We're going to recession. And we're heading into recession. What about a loaf of bread? If a loaf of bread stays at, and guess what? There is no national average like AAA that tells you what the loaf of bread in the United States is. But I'll give you an analysis. If the loaf of bread nationwide, the average is $5 a loaf, we're going to recession because Americans can't afford a $5 loaf of bread on a regular basis. And we're not done there yet. If your bank goes under and has a massive corporate loss in Q2, Q3 this year, we're going to recession. A lot of problems, and we're just getting started. So the oil situation really not being solved. Number one, the White House has still not ramped up domestic production at the time of this recording, and it's a familiar subject, and it's a familiar refrain for me since day one of the invasion. White House has done it. I don't know why. Number two, more importantly, the White House has not gotten any alternative for gasoline for our partner allies, who, unlike us, where we only import 3% of our oil from Russia, they import 40, 60%. And they include Germany, where Vladimir Putin says, you know what, I don't like you. You keep on pushing my buttons. He actually said this. I'm turning off your oil overnight. Imagine what happens to Germany. Recession. And guess what? We get pulled into recession. Remember, if your partner allies go into recession, you go into recession. I'm talking about France, Germany, Italy. They can't have an economic meltdown. We will have one. That's oil. Then we have the problem with wheat. Very troubling because guess what? All the wheat is generated for Western Europe and the Middle East, like Egypt. 80% of their wheat comes from Ukraine and Russia. You heard me right, 80%. If there's no wheat, then guess where they're going to eat? They're going to have to eat wheat at the highest prices you've seen of a generation. They're currently trading at 10-year highs. So this is because all that wheat is grown and harvested normally in the Black Sea region. They can't harvest it because they're defending their country. They can't prepare the soil for next season. They're defending their country. Guess what? This season lost, next season lost, many seasons potentially lost if there's cluster bombing. Very bad situation. What about China? China is one of those equations White House is not telling us. We know there's a problem, and we don't know how serious the problem is. It grows from Vladimir Putin's request for economic support for the war against Ukraine from China. Yesterday, and I'll feature again tonight on News LA, the Prime Minister of Russia, the Finance Minister of Russia, confirmed that they asked for this money. China denied it, but Russia, who made the request, confirmed the request. So what does this mean? If we learn that China gives one penny to Russia, China gets embargoed by us, sanctioned, and guess what? We can't import anything from China. Then we go into a major recession. Supply chain like you've never seen a problem before. Horrible. And then China is already dealing with COVID wave 6. Their supply chain has already been disrupted. Now, Russia is perhaps the one that scares me the most, not so much Putin, but his debt problems and our exposure to it. Our US banks, let's not play games, our US banks have major investments in Russian bonds and Russian equities. They've had them for a long time because up to the day one of this invasion, Russia was the number 10 largest economy in the globe. It was a great investment place. Guess what? Those bonds are about to become valueless. Junk bond, no value. And the US banks are about to close out those positions, meaning they're going to say, hey, we're just taking a loss. How big of a loss? $500 million, 300 million. Huge corporate losses could throw the banking industry into a tailspin. No one knows this risk. They're not telling us. And we're likely not to see that for another 2 months. So I'll feature that more tonight on Evenings LALATE. What's happening right now at the time of this recording is that Russia by tonight, March 16th, may have already, well, tonight is March 17th, but yesterday, March 16th, Russia may have already defaulted on day one of its debt obligations. Let me explain to you. This is a little bit more complicated. They have interest and they have principal. Interest, big deal. Principal, scary as hell. Why? Because the principal payments go to $2 billion on April 1st or April 4th. It's huge. It's gargantuan. And the fact that it can't make a $55 million interest payment yesterday, I'm not worried about. It's the principal payment. Guess what? It's a little bit more complicated. We learned tonight. It's a little bit more complicated because we will not know if they default unless the people who are owed the money tell us. Oh, boy, very confusing. Even more confusing, the White House says it will not lock up Russia's ability to use the money. What? This sounds contradictory. Very, very contradictory. Bottom line is that when you don't know, it's scary because suddenly, wait a second, we had 5 debt obligations, which Russia has coming up every single day for 2 weeks. Maybe meets all those and then it defaults on the $2 billion. Yeah, it looked so good till we got to $2 billion. Oh, then, then we started burning the coal that Joe Manchin has back in his Maserati trunk. I mean, it just got really bad very quickly. So we don't know how bad it's going to get. And if it gets that bad, guess what? Oh, so that is 6 stimulus. 6 stimulus is happening at the same time as everything else. Now, 6 stimulus in the United States would be Joe Biden doing a major stimulus package. I want to tell you, folks, I want to give you a concept. First, I think it's going to be bipartisan. I think it will get bipartisan support because this is something that Republicans would support. Number 2, it's going to sort of mirror something else. It's not going to mirror 1st through 4th, in my opinion. Guess what I think it's going to mirror? I think it's going to mirror the Obama-Biden stimulus package. Day one of the Obama-Biden administration was a stimulus package, the largest we have ever seen in the history of the channel until first stimulus. And it was for bailing out the banking industry. It was for world economic events that was sending us into a tailspin. And if you woke up that morning of that year, you saw here in Los Angeles, banks that were gone overnight. That is what this is going to look like. It's very scary. And we can't sustain these recessionary environments. So what do we know? We know that it will be done on a national level in the United States. It will be done on an international level. And it'll also be done on a state level, because on a state level, states have already indicated that they would do things like tax holidays for gasoline and other solutions across the board. It's very, very important to understand this. Now, what's also important to understand is that third stimulus is still paying out. Wow. This is huge. All these incredible sums will be featured tonight on Evenings LALATE and Prime Time. But what I want you to know right now is that the big sums of money grew even bigger as one viewer got $26,000 for this money this week. Where do you get it? Here you go. You're going to reach out to the City Hall, your City House Authority, your County Hall, and your County House Authority. And the keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. There are 6 musts you must do. You must reach out to all 3 places. You must put multiple rounds on file. And you must do multiple applications. Congratulations to Johnny Horavathan, who in the last 5 days got $26,000, paying all his bills to October 2022 by watching Evenings LALATE in Prime Time. Tonight, I'm going to have the new success stories since Johnny. Remember, third stimulus also has the nonprofits to do home repairs. all featured in the membership newsletter. That is why the membership of this channel is getting $45,000 from third stimulus, and you still can get those big sums of money across the board. They're available tonight. And what's important to understand is that third stimulus needed for renters and homeowners. Fourth stimulus needed for homeowners because the interest rate spike from J-Pow not so severe yesterday, but the inflationary concern is still there. We still have inflation. You're still battling inflation. There's a potential recession looming. The gasoline price is surging out of control, and the situation very fluid as Vladimir Putin. I told you, those talks of that maybe there was a ceasefire, untrue. Vladimir Putin doubling down today, suggesting that the war is far from over. If the war is far from over, guess what? Six stimulus. Now remember, if the war is over, you're still going to get six stimulus because the economic destruction Vladimir Putin's done to his economy that impacts us as well is there. Oil, wheat, grain, then commodities, and then the banking industry, and then Russia's default, and then China. It's all featured tonight in Ian's LALATE in prime time. It's a big recording, and we'll go over more about those $80,000 of checks. I'm so proud of you. You have learned so well. You have pounced so well. For everyone who takes a pen and a paper and takes notes during the video and makes notes about this is something I get, this is something I get. I'm so proud of you. You've really distanced yourself from the people who just show up 30 minutes late into a 45-minute video and says, what did I miss? Did I get a check in my hand? Guess what? Those people will ultimately be distanced by all of us because those are the people who aren't doing what we do. We pounce as Purple Hawks. We get these big sums of money. We get them. And if I find another program like $80,000, I do what I always do. I slide it right into the membership newsletter the minute it's announced so that you're first in line. For all the incredible members, congratulations who got their application on file. For everyone who is a brand new member who's getting their application on file, go do it. And for everyone who's becoming a member tonight in today's video, do it and get that application on file and then get third stimulus as well. Stay informed, stay focused. I'll see you tonight in Ian's LA for that special report in prime time. 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA for more.